Well, I want to start by saying next week is Thanksgiving. And if you live in Rockwall, we have a lot to be thankful for. And I am so thankful to have the opportunity to serve you all as your mayor, most of you, including Jeremiah. I'm your mayor too. We'll talk about that later. It's a little inside joke with me and Jeremiah. But really, we're seriously thankful to live in what a great community. We have great businesses, great nonprofits, great educators, great civil servants, great leaders at the state level as well. So we are so lucky. And I'm so lucky to be one of those leaders. So we'll turn to the next slide. The next slide just has my picture on it, so you can go 2 slides if you don't mind. Y'all don't need that one. So I want to introduce some really important people to me. I know we had people stand during introductions, but I serve with a fantastic city council, and some of them are here. Anna Campbell and Cedric Thomas are not here today, but if the rest of the council could stand up, I'd really love for you guys to give them a round of applause. Mayor Pro Tem Mark Moeller, Melba Jeffis, Dennis Lewis, and Richard Henson. Thank you for your service to our community. We are truly a team. And there's one other person in the room who serves as a chairman of our Youth Advisory Council, and he's also an intern for the chamber, and that's Vincent Vento, and he's been our chair for 2 years, and so just want to thank you for your service to our community too. It's a future leader right there. And now I'll turn it over to Mary to introduce her staff.
So I am blessed to work with a great team of leadership at the city, so I want to call them out. And I'll tell you an interesting fact at the end. Joey Boyd's been the assistant city manager for several years now. Kenneth Collins is our fire chief. Ed Fowler, our police chief. Travis Sales, parks director. Ryan Miller, planning and zoning director, and holds the record for the most evening meetings, I promise you. David Sweet is Director of Administrative Services. Amy Williams is the City Engineer and Public Works Director, so she's roads and everything under the roads. Jeffrey Widmer is our building official, and he was here when I got here. And Sean Yerkes is our HR Director. Among all of those people, we have 244 years of service just to the city of Rockwall. And when you add in their time at other cities where we all came from before, it's almost 300 years of government work. So we've been growing cities here and elsewhere. So, okay, we've been over the years looking at 10 years of growth, and I thought it was interesting when Mayor McCallum came in as mayor, I pointed out to him how it had changed in the years since he was on the council previously. So we decided this would be a good look at what 20 years has looked like. So we've grown, back 20 years ago, we had a population of 29,500. We're at over 53,000 now. Our residential tax base was just $2 billion back then. It's over $7 billion now. The non-residential, which is what helps keep the taxes down on all of the residential, went from $735 million to $2.6 million. Billion, I'm sorry. Okay, readers, here we go. And I knew that, but that's okay. So, those are phenomenal growth in all of those things. We've managed through having an excellent economic development corporation to keep a good mix between residential and commercial. The goal has really stayed pretty steady. We've been at 73% residential 20 years ago, and now we're at 74% residential, and that much growth in commercial. The total assessed value overall has grown from $2.7 billion to just under $10 billion. And sales tax over that time has grown from $7 million a year to $28 million last year.
Mary's also our finance director, so when she gets numbers wrong, it really makes me nervous. She's going to blame it on the glasses. That's okay. And nerves, yeah. Well, look, as Mary said, we've had a lot of growth. When I moved here 26 years ago, the community looked a lot different than it does today. The numbers really say that. But those of you who have lived here as long as I have and longer have seen those changes. You felt those changes. One of the things that was really important to me was really reviewing our comprehensive plan. So immediately after the last May elections, we sat our comprehensive planning committee. And for those of you who don't know what a comprehensive plan does, it really dictates how we grow, where we grow, and things like our density. One of the missions that I laid out very specifically, that we were going to gut the density calculation. The way we've been doing density, we had to change. We can't sustain the type of small lot product we've had as we've grown. The other thing is, we're looking at John King as a corridor. John King will be the new 205. What do we want our city to look like in 20 years when John King is the main corridor in and out of our town? So the Comprehensive Planning Committee is looking at things like that. Where should commercial development be? What's appropriate for different areas? And so we're making some huge changes to our comprehensive plan. We hope that will be done in the next several months. And Ryan and his team and a fantastic group of 7 citizens and a couple alternates are really diving into that for us. So that's important work. The next thing, we had a charter review committee that we looked at, some stuff at the end of the last term for council. And we've brought those some proposals forward. And in the next meeting, actually, we'll be reviewing those as a council, some significant changes to our charter. Without getting into all the details, we have a lot of work to do as a council, but we will be making some changes to our charter that I think reflect where we are today and the growth that we've experienced. Things like doing away with plural elections and things like that. So we'll be working on a lot of those things. One of the big things that I've proposed is that we don't have any more no-bid contracts on solid waste. And so that's one of the things that I'll be asking the council to vote on, to make sure we put that before you, the citizen, and have an opportunity to vote on that, to make sure those contracts always go out for a competitive bid. So that will happen at the next meeting. And one thing we hadn't done in a while, we certainly hadn't done it in my last term as council member, is had a joint meeting with the P&Z. And so that was really helpful. Yeah, we were there to talk about the comp plan, but we also got together to talk about expectations and how we work together as a planning and zoning commission and city council. And so what you've seen is a lot of developments that have been really changed, and the outcomes have been affected. We even had a car wash that had previously been approved, their SUP expired, came back to P&Z, this time got denied. We have the most conservative planning and zoning commission that we've had in over a decade, and they're doing a great job. We've remanded, as a council, unanimously remanded back some cases when we didn't think it was the quality that we need in our community. And the planning and zoning has elevated those cases before they came back to council. That's really good work that they're doing. So we're going to do these joint sessions once a year. It's really important to me that we have great communication with our planning and zoning commissioners. One of the things that I wanted to do is really open up the government to our community. Thank you, Mary. And so we had a HOA town hall meeting. What is an HOA town hall meeting? Well, we had a town hall meeting where we invited only board members from HOAs. Every HOA in the city were invited. And we had a huge response. We thought we were going to be there for an hour and a half and give them updates. We had the chiefs there, we had planning there, we had parks, infrastructure, Amy was there. We had all the departments and disciplines to talk to HOAs about how we can help them and how they can interface with the local government. Well, after about 3 hours, we had to say, hey, we're not going to take any more questions, but we'll be here till the last person leaves. And we said, we're going to do this once a year. And they said, can we do it once a quarter, I think is what they said. And we said, no, that's not realistic. We're going to do it, but we are going to do it once a year. So we will hopefully start a trend that we continue. When Bill Cecil was mayor, I served under Bill. He was a great man. Bill used to do these, and it was really, the collaboration you get with the neighborhoods is tremendous. And then we have Parks and Open Space Community Town Hall meeting, a visioning workshop, hearing from the citizens. We had one of our best attended, right, Travis? One of our best attended open space meetings. It was fantastic. And we got to hear from citizens on what they want out of parks. And we're going to talk a little bit more about parks, I think, in a little bit, right? Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit more about parks in a little bit. And then one thing I wanted to talk about was hot funds. Many of you may know what hot funds are, but hot funds are the hotel motel occupancy taxes. and we use those to promote tourism. Well, what you might not know is that the city generates about $2 million in hot funds. That's a lot of money. And we allocate those hot funds for a lot of things, including the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Visit Rockwall. We're so happy to partner with Jody and with Darby and the Chamber on that. The Kiwanis, the Tri-Rock Triathlon, Texas Canine Conference, which was super cool to attend, and then Boys and Girls Club, the Duck Regatta. We give money for lots of different things that promote tourism throughout the community, and so it's pretty exciting, some of the things we have going on in Rockwall. I'll turn it over to Mary.
We couldn't do a lot of what we do without partnerships that we have across the city lines and the county. We are the 911 dispatch service for Heath, police, fire, and then we partner with the City of Fate, Heath, McLennan Chisholm, and Roy City Fire Departments on structure fires. We are often seen in these other locales, and we benefit from them coming and helping us as well. We are the animal services provider for Heath and in unincorporated parts of the county, and we greatly all benefit from the county owning a countywide radio system, which we all are able to then to communicate across all of the departments and really provide upscale service and working with each other. For the police department, I just want to give some updates, some things that happened this year. We have a new electronic storage detection K9. It says coming soon. He was actually in the office yesterday. Nessa, a really good-looking 2-year-old lab who can sniff out flash drives that are hidden perhaps in a house that someone's trying to hide what they've been looking at. And so this dog will be used for that. He's also trained as a support animal. So if we're having to work with, unfortunately, a young child who's been exposed to some things, then this dog is trained to comfort them. We were the beneficiary of a grant. It's the 247th of these canines that have been granted across the country. So Philip Young, who's one of our detectives, just got back from training and brought Nessa to the office yesterday. We're acquiring 3 more drones for assistance with the traffic and managing crime scenes and dealing with trying to find someone. Those are very beneficial, and I think when the sheriff and the chiefs talked, they mentioned that that's going to be really probably the policing of the future. We are hosting a 2-day strategic communication course for hostage negotiators this month, and we do provide 13 school resource officer positions to RISD with partnership from them. And I would note that Chief Fowler, wherever he is, has been with us for 36 years. He came straight to us out of the Marines, I believe. Not to be outdone, Chief Cullens has been with us in former fashion for 36 years, as he started as a volunteer fireman straight out of high school. We've had 2 members of the fire department receive the Chief Fire Officer certification. We've inspected 2,500 businesses this year. We've really ramped up that program. We've had 4,700 department training hours and have responded for medical, fire, vehicle accidents, etc., 4,500 times over the course of a year.
How about our first responders? Fantastic. We are so blessed to have 2 chiefs with that level of experience, and we have Mayor Pro Tem Moeller was our chief, so we are so experienced to have so many great folks from first responders, from police and fire in our community. Next, I want to talk about economic development. The Rockwall EDC, I think, is one of our most important boards. They're appointed by the City Council. There are 7 members on that board. The Rockwall Economic Development Corporation has put on $576 million in taxable value on the ground. That keeps your taxes low. And we have 260 acres still available in our technology park. But right now we're evaluating phase 4 expansion. We have 3 phases. What you may not realize, especially if you haven't been here that long, is when we did phase 3, I was on city council, I had hair, and I was 32 years old. That's true. And so we have to think about the next 20 years. We can't be short-sighted and think about, the price of land will only go up. Available land will only disappear. And so we have to take our future into our own hands. And so we're evaluating the phase 4 expansion, where we'll put phase 4. But that's one of my strategic goals for our city. And the goal really in doing that is to get us to $1 billion in taxable value through the EDC's work. We don't have a time frame on that at this point. But again, if we don't have the land, we don't have the ability to make those incentives. And some of you that are in here are benefactors of EDC deals. It's really important to our community. And so, look, that's something that we're going to be really working on. And I'm really excited about where we're going with Economic Development Corporation. Choco, or Choc XO Chocolates, is slated to open in 2026. They're a chocolate factory. They will have a retail component. I'm sure Darby and the staff will have a massive ribbon cutting. And they're going to have tours and all sorts of stuff. And I'm told, and I guess you guys have heard this previously from the EDC updates, that they might make some chocolates from some other big companies out of Pennsylvania. That's what I understand. So that's what I'm told. Go to the next slide. Planning and zoning. I said planning and zoning they've had a lot of work to do over the last several years. We have 7 members. They are a very important board to us. Our commissioners are super important, and how we appoint them is super important. And the council's been taking, we've made several appointments in the last several months, and they're key appointments for us. These people heard 73 zoning cases and looked at 41 site plans this year alone, and that's a lot, actually. Some of those folks are, Ryan has the schedule for the most late nights, but those commissioners are there and they're completely volunteer. And they're looking at large packets and listening to citizen input. They have a lot of tough decisions to make before it gets to the city council. A couple of things we've done in the planning and zoning, give you some really key updates. We adjusted our Southside Residential Neighborhood Overlay District. One of the important things for me in making sure we did that was removing those commercially zoned properties from there. Beginning the development of standards that are in line with the rest of the city. This area had a lower development standard than the rest of the city, so we brought it up to our SF7 zoning standard, which makes it uniform with everything else in the area. And then we eliminated there was some multifamily zoning available in Southside. We eliminated that through a city-initiated rezoning, so that will never be multifamily, which was really important for me and for the council. The next thing we're going to be reviewing is the Downtown Overlay District. So one of the things that you might not realize about the Downtown Overlay District is that when it was done, the downtown didn't look like it does today. There was no Zanata. It didn't. You couldn't take a wheelchair down the streets. The sidewalks were really bad. Well, we got the Main Street grant, did some other things. Downtown is beautiful and vibrant. And now we have to focus, instead of on redevelopment, we have to focus on preservation. How do we preserve and protect our downtown so Rockwall stays Rockwall? So that's one of the things that our planning and zoning and our planning group will be working on. I want to give you a couple of other updates on some areas north of I-30. We have Irwin Farms as 123 homes that was approved. That also includes some really large home sites, which I'm really happy about. Then Quail Hollow subdivision is 250 homes. Going on to the next slide, south of I-30, the Juniper project is 870 homes. Hey, that one took a while to get done. Mr. Joyce was part of that. But the end product is it's going to be a fantastic neighborhood. We're all pushing for that. Southside Hills, 384 homes, including some large acreage homes. So that's a really fantastic development. It's just down 549. And then Peachtree Meadows is 292 homes. Rockwall is averaging 307 single-family homes, and we have about 6.5 years of inventory available in the building process, somewhere in the process, which is exciting. A lot of activity going on is my point. The other thing is, while they're not focusing on home developments, our planning department and planning and zoning have been focusing on businesses coming. Shake Shack is coming. Anybody who's tired of looking at the old abandoned Taco Cabana, that will be Shake Shack. Excited about that. The IKEA is going up fast. You can see it as you drive by. The Finch opens in January. That's right next to Vidora. And so that will be a really great restaurant. HG Supply is under construction right at the corner of Horizon and 30. Fuel City is going to be down John King. So you'll see that. Of course, how many of you have been to the HEB? If you haven't, you're missing out. The 2-bite brownies, which are actually 1-bite brownies, are fantastic. They're really good. The HEB and the Barnes & Noble are both fantastic. So we have a lot of cool things happening in the city of Rockwall, lots to be proud of.
We also this year have seen the groundbreaking for the Meals on Wheels new congregate facility that they have going on Airport Road. That's very exciting and has benefited from both local support and state and national grants that they've been able to get to put that facility together. Hopefully many of you made the Helping Hands unveiling a few weeks ago and then the gala this weekend. We're proud of all the work that they do here in town, and those great new spaces that they have will help them for many decades to come. And right down the street from all that, Texas Products, a locally owned company, is building a new warehouse facility right next to the airport. While we're switching slides, I forgot to mention 2 people over here. Christy Teague is our city secretary and has spent, I don't know, the last 15 years shepherding these youth commission kids each year. So she spends the school year with 12 or so high school kids, teaching them about local government and what we do. So that's a great program that she's always been a part of. And then we do have a housing authority. It's not a division of the city, but we work closely with them. The mayor appoints the board, and Aurora Bueno joined us last year with 40 years of city experience. So that helps up my numbers there. So in front of you is our Public Works update. We do have a new water tower in design that will go on Mims Road near Sid's, I guess, near Rayburn Electric there. And so that'll be coming next year beginning. The Squabble Creek Sewer Treatment Plant, which has been there since the 70s, is in the process of being demolished. We put out that it wasn't being used anymore. The initial estimates to demo that thing was $2 million. Then we fine-tuned and got it to $700,000. And then we rented some sort of tool for $16,000 and have been demoing it ourselves. So we're just about done. It's just about gone. I really never knew that's quite what it looked like, but they really do call that a racetrack there. So on the street side of things, there's been a number of projects that we just do year in and year out. Concrete panel repair, working in alleys, sidewalks, lifting those, stabilizing roads, etc. We spend about $3 million a year on those. We have begun the Boyston Avenue west of Goliad reconstruction project. That's a 500-day project, so that'll go on a while. And we are in design to rebuild North Lakeshore from 66 to Masters. If you've been through there, you know how rough that is. So we hope that that'll be ready for bid sometime next year. And then we are going to be issuing $22 million in road bonds that were approved by the voters several years ago. So it's our next amount we're issuing from that. And then we're going to start a project here very shortly. We've gotten proposals and we'll be ready to pick the engineering firm to help us with what's the first step of changing North Goliad Street. As we make the transition over from Goliad onto John King as a state highway, Goliad obviously still has to be rebuilt. So we are hiring a firm to help us reimagine what that could look like once it becomes a city street. And that project will start here probably in the winter time. It'll involve a lot of group, town hall meetings and getting opinions, because everybody will have an opinion, I'm sure. So we'll be looking forward to that starting.
Thank you, Mary. One thing I want to mention on that road, the road money is $22 million is the largest amount we spent in one single year since we built John King. We are serious about building roads. And the 205 Reimagining, I need to give a shout out to our county partners because they gave us $2 million from bond funds to help us begin that project. So without the cooperation of our county officials and our county judge, we wouldn't have those dollars either. So really important collaboration that happens with all of the cities and the county government. So really proud of the work we're doing. The other thing is, if you ever want to know what's going on from a road perspective, during Mary's report at the beginning of the month, many of you, it's at the end of the meeting. If you don't come to a meeting or watch the meeting, you may have never seen it. But Amy is doing a fantastic job of giving updates before and afters. Every single month, she puts together a chart for the citizens, including graphics and pictures of all the road work that's being done in our city. It's a chance for us to communicate to you all the work that may not be in your neighborhood, but it makes a difference to our community. So thanks, Amy, for the work that you're doing to communicate to the citizens every month. Next, let's talk I-30. First of all, got a quick video here. Hey, it's coming along. So all the drill shafts in the lake that are planned they'll be completed by Thanksgiving. That's what we're told. It's about a year before the eastbound frontage lanes are open. That will be, if any of you have taken the Dow Rock exit, it makes your life so much easier. It'll be fantastic when that is open. The work has also begun on the, you can see it here, on the westbound side. And so they have to, of course, take that over the railroad tracks, so that work is ongoing. And then they're working on the expansion. I know it's a pain that the John King entrance ramp is closed, but John King and the expansions on John King and the bridge and the overpasses there in Stodgel are being completed. So you're starting to see, look, I moved here just after the bridge was first done the last time. And I used to call my wife, and I'd say, honey, I hit the bridge, I'm almost home. Now I call her and say, I'm on the bridge, I don't know when I'll get home. But I hope we get to that point here soon. We have great cooperation, and it's a little going to be inconvenient, especially during the holiday times. But there's exciting work being done, and they are moving fast. So that's good news. Next slide. We've got it. Oh. Was the video? I think it was rolling through the second time, wasn't it? Okay, there is a QR code if anybody wants to see the video and see it later. You see it from overhead. Yeah. So the next thing is we want to talk about some park and rec improvements that we're making. So the 66 boat ramp. For any of you who have been attending our meetings, there's been a little bit of commotion about that from some of our local neighbors there, but we are in the process of looking at making some adjustments to that. But we got a fantastic grant from the state, and we are going to be making improvements to that boat ramp, not to the boat ramp, but really the parking and the park area, and making it, beautifying it. Today, it's hard to navigate. There's poison ivy. It's really, really not in a good situation. So this grant will really help us. It'll be a great, tremendous asset for us going forward. The other thing is the harbor. A lot of people don't realize we did the harbor. That didn't cost our taxpayers a single penny. We use a TIF zone, so all the revenue that comes from the harbor pays for the harbor. And we're getting closer to the end of the life of that initial TIF, but we have some major improvements and maintenance work that needs to be done. We lost for the second time some of our boat docks, and the insurance wouldn't cover it. And so some of the discussion was, what do we do with that? How do we pay for those improvements and that maintenance? Because the insurance that we use from TML would not cover that. So we are actually issuing $5 million of debt service into that TIF, which means none of us have to pay for that. All the people who go and shop at the harbor and wait for 2 hours at Gloria's, and get margaritas, they'll pay for the improvements we have to do. But we will be putting in a breakwater, and that will stop those boat ramps, those boat docks from being damaged in the future, and we're going to redo those boat docks. And Travis and his team are working on that right now. We're also, any of you who have noticed, my son is very meticulous, and he noticed the fountain hasn't been working. It's very expensive to fix the fountain. Oh, it's under repair. Small repair. It's a small repair, but it will be fixed. So that's all part of this project. And there's going to be some other stuff done at the harbor, at the amphitheater, and some other things. Some lighting. The splash pad. Some lighting at the splash pad. Some things like that. And then many of you saw the Icy Hot from Shaq at Gloria Williams Park. I drove by Gloria Williams Park last night about 8:30, and there were kids playing, and the lights are fantastic, and it was so awesome to watch those kids play. So that was in conjunction with Boys and Girls Club. So one thing on parks that I wanted to talk about is these two
50-acre parks, almost 50-acre parks. So to put it in perspective, Harry Myers is about 60-something acres. So these are significant sized parks. But for years, Alma Williams Park is land that the city bought, but it has really just been blank. It's not a park, it's just land. And so, and the other thing, Klutz Farm, we were given 50 acres as part of the Klutz Farm property, the neighborhood there, the Homestead neighborhood, but it was just farmland. And so we are allocating money this year to do the planning for that park, for both of those parks. That I think the council's already approved that. We've approved that, so it's going to the planning now. So we will begin to plan 100 acres of parkland for our citizens, one on the north side and one on the south side. Last but not least for me is events and live music. You know, I don't need to read all these to you, but our Founders Day is huge. You know, all the events, every weekend there's music at San Jacinto Plaza. Our Independence Day keeps growing and growing. We've had great acts at our Founders Day. So we are the free live music capital of North Texas, and we're proud of that. And we put a lot of dollars and time and coordination into making sure our community is special. And this is one of the ways we do it. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mary.
So over the course of this year, you probably heard or read that we did acquire the piece of land where the Rockwall, Arch, and Well are located on 66, just east of Walmart Neighborhood Market. You've seen a fence go up, and that's about all you've seen. The family did donate the land to us. We were blessed to get that, and we have an agreement that we should unearth it and figure out what we're going to do with it over a course of 10 years. So that's why you haven't seen anything happen yet. I have to hold Travis at bay because he would be out there digging it up already. But the last thing we want to do, and what we promise the family, is when we unearth it, that we won't damage it, because we don't know. It's been underground for something like 70 years since it was last seen, so we don't want to cause any harm. But we will be working on that. Park Hill is a planning firm that we use to study all of the facilities. We know that we have police and fire facility needs. The service center is quite old, if you've seen it there at the corner of Airport and John King, and then City Hall could use some more space. So that we did the first stage of that, and now the council will have to go into some planning discussions about how, when, if to move forward with those projects, which will ultimately, be bond issue or bond election projects. So then you've probably also heard that we purchased the historic Methodist Church there on the square. You've seen it falling apart over many, many, many years. It's not nearly as bad inside as you might guess from looking at the outside. We were very pleasantly surprised the first time we walked through it. There are office spaces and some small event spaces that are currently leased, and we agreed to honor those leases. So it'll be a couple of years before you really see activity in there. But the sanctuary area is an open slate. The previous owner gutted it all the way to the beams. So it's something that we're going to design and hope to work with arts groups and have some sort of an entertainment venue that can be used by arts groups and small concerts and such as that. It's a beautiful space. Melba's over here saying, yes, it is. I know she was pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. So things that have been going on downtown, we have what we call facade grants. We work with the various business owners when they want to put a little money into changing up their facade. Then we do a grant where we can give $1,000 toward that effort, and that's when you see a new awning or something, we've probably been involved in that. We are going to do some small revamps to Canes Park. It's where the restroom building is, and it could use a little upgrade, but we'll be working on that. It still will just be a park in front of a restroom building. The Founders Hall is amazing if you haven't been by it. It's the old Helping Hands building there as you come up 66, and it doesn't look anything like it did just a few months ago. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and office space, and I believe a bank. So we've been benefiting from 18 years of partnering with Claudette Hatfield and her gang of volunteers who make the farmers market happen every year. So we have been blessed by her. If you don't know her, she's 85 years old and can outwork any of you, even the youngest ones. And she has decided to step back. She figures 85 is old enough to begin to retire a little. So she's going to let us begin to manage it here at the city. And so we're not going to disappoint her, I promise you that, because she would never let us forget it if we did. So one of the things that's ongoing or coming up very quickly is changes to the garbage service here in town. If you live here, you've probably heard that we are going to move to once per week collection with polycarts and limiting the amount of brush you can put out. If you live in any other city, you're saying, well, I thought that's how it was. The commercial, in addition, if you have a business here in town and have dumpster service, that is changing. I would go over the numbers, but there's 45 different ways you can price what you have at your office. If you have any questions, Rick Burness is there in the back corner, and he said he is happy to take your calls any time of day or night to answer your questions, because he can tell you the straight story on that.
I have another mic. Strategically, Mary was going to take that trash discussion. That's an inside joke for those who know the history there. My mic was purposely muted during that discussion. Next, I want to talk about Rockwall's hometown Christmas. So I know many of you have seen your faces, and you have floats, and your businesses are out there at our parade. The parade is at 9 a.m. It's Kiwanis Christmas Parade. It starts at 9 a.m. And we have downtown celebration all day, including food trucks. We have a snow hill. We have pictures with Santa. And then at night at the tree lighting from 6:30 to 8, we have the tree lighting. We have lots. I think the Women's League does cookies every year, and that was started by Mrs. Minth many years ago. So we'll have cookies, but huge, huge, huge day here in Rockwall. So I hope you all will bring toys for Tots, and I hope you will come out and be at our parade, not the Heath Parade, which is right after ours. Just come to our parade. We don't want you there. We want you over here. Oh, is that only 4th of, I think theirs is after ours. No? Oh, good. All right, great. Perfect. Yeah. So anyway, that was just a joke.
I think my mic's off. We have added some vendors to the or to the hometown Christmas, crafts and the things that some of the ladies like to look at while their kids play in the snow.
Yeah, it's a great event if you haven't been there. So we encourage you to come out on December 6th. It's a great opportunity to bring your kids for the snow hill and those types of things. And hey, we're thankful we have a lot of volunteers in our city. We had a volunteer reception for them last month. Our volunteers are fantastic, and it takes a lot of hours. And so if you want to get involved in the city, I encourage you to contact us, and we can help you get involved. There are lots of places. There's boards. There's the Citizens on Patrol. There's parks. Lots of places to serve, whether you can serve a lot or a little. We'd love to have you serve. And with that, we have maybe just a couple of minutes for a question or two, but I think we've used most of our time. But thank you guys for having us today. We really appreciate it.